This is the Palin Update on SarahNet Radio. I'm Kiven Scholla.
I would put up my record as a CEO of a city, of a state, as an oil and gas regulator up against any of the other potential GOP vice presidential nominees last go around.
Just like Sarah Palin herself, supporters of the Mama Grizzly don't waver. They don't waffle. Sometimes the supporters are big names, politicians, journalists, radio and TV hosts. Sometimes they're everyday Americans who don't need a title to make a difference. So many wonderful pro-Palin groups continue to fight for the governor every day. SarahNet, Team Sarah, Motivation Truth, Youth for Palin, and others set the record straight when the lamestream media chooses to push an agenda rather than the facts. Today, a man who's been fighting for Sarah for years, Thomas Schmitz of American Grizzlies United, is here. A brilliant move by Governor Palin this past week. She co-hosted the Today Show, jumping right into the liberal lion's den and going head-to-head with Katie Couric. We'll take a look at how the governor did. Thumbs up for the Stock Act, and another book recommendation from the Gov. We'll tell you about the latest page-turner on the Barracuda must-read list. First, the main man at AGU, a group that stands up for the governor and spreads the word for candidates that hold the values of Sarah Palin. And we are happy to be joined today by Thomas Schmitz. He is the chairman of the board for American Grizzlies United. Thomas, thanks so much for joining us today on the Palin Update on SarahNet Radio.
Happy to be here, Kevin. Thank you for having me.
Now, I know you are a tremendous Palin backer all the way, and I want to talk about American Grizzlies United specifically to start. Can you tell me how you started the group?
Yes, it was founded in 2010 by Karen Allen. A few months before the election cycle began, she founded American Grizzlies United, AGU, and introduced two projects. The first project, Organize for Palin, O for P, and Students for Palin, S for P. The original goal of the O for P project was to help Governor Sarah Palin's endorsed candidates get elected to office, and there were only about 2 months back then to learn the ropes, and the volunteers worked very tirelessly in the 2010 election cycle. They knocked on doors, they made phone calls, they waved signs, they walked precincts, and they ended up circumventing the establishment party machine, and they brought about real change. Students for Palin, S for P, is the official student wing of American Grizzlies United, and they inspire and they facilitate political action in young people across the country. It's kind of a convenient one-stop shop of important news, information, citizen activism for the busy young college student. They prepare young people to serve as vehicles and public servants with other like-minded young people, and they connect and engage with one another. And you can join Students for Palin, and they come up with some really creative ways for the youth of America to get involved in their own future.
And now AGU, a little different take on things with what perhaps we thought may have happened with a Palin candidacy for the White House, and that not being the case right now. So looking at some of the other Grizzlies out there, if you will, and trying to help them out.
Oh, absolutely. What AGU does, American Grizzlies United, it's a grassroots organization dedicated to organizing, educating, and training volunteers for American political elections. The O for P project helps candidates that are endorsed by Sarah Palin, and American Grizzlies United, AGU, helps candidates that are endorsed by you, the people. You can go to our website, AmericanGrizzlies.com, and you'll find a candidate list there under the projects section. And what we do is we encourage our volunteers to use our resources, which are under the resources section. There's 2 of them there right now. There's the Grizzly Doctrine, a crib sheet, and the AGU Citizen Activism Guide. The Grizzly Doctrine, a crib sheet, it's an original manuscript. It provides a framework for discussion about honest, ethical policies. It's very basic. All Americans should expect this from our leaders. It doesn't just cover issues that Americans are concerned with. The manuscript also helps educate just ordinary citizen volunteers on the best way to approach potential voters, because it's so important to talk to people and to discuss the candidates' positions. And then we have our other resource, the AGU Citizen Activism Guide, and it showcases volunteerism, vetting, and organizing for your precinct, and both the resources are available as a free download on the website, AmericanGrizzlies.com, and we encourage people to use the resources to vet and to help down-ticket candidates who put country first, who understand that energy independence is a key element to our security, our economic security, and a betterment that all Americans want and deserve. Candidates that believe in American exceptionalism, and just good candidates who understand that our American foreign policy should above all be founded in our national interests and not the interests of others. And all of those things can be found in those two resources, and we encourage everyone to use our resources and then go to our candidate list, check them out, and find out which candidates you feel moved to help and get behind it. We've had great success with this model, and it's really encouraging to see these regular citizens calling up and texting us and finding out what they can do to help and getting involved and bringing about real change in the political process. We don't really teach our children civics anymore, and so this is kind of a refresher course for a lot of us, and it's really exciting just to see ordinary people just digging their heels in and getting involved in the political process and helping bring real change to our country.
On that candidates list, who are some of the potential stars that maybe stand out to you?
Wow, they're all stars. We're really proud of each and every one of them, these bold patriots. They're really putting it all out there. They're putting it all on the line for our country. Josh Mandel comes to mind. He just recently won his Senate primary in Ohio, and now, thanks to you, the people, the volunteers, the citizen activists, he's out campaigning with Marco Rubio to go against Senator Brown, Sherrod Brown, in the general in November, and it's because of regular, everyday people who got involved and walked precincts, knocked on doors, made phone calls, tweeted, texted, emailed, and connected with each other, and they helped him get elected, and we're really proud of him.
Governor Palin has spoken many times about how it's very important to get involved, of course, without a title, but also if you have a title on the lower level, and you talked about these down candidates down the ballot. That's pretty unique from AGU, I think, and a good thing, because you don't see that too often. Everybody's always looking at the more sensational races and the races that are statewide or national, but that's great that you're doing something for the folks who are trying to make things happen on the lower level.
Oh, absolutely. I think we get a little distracted by the presidential race, and we forget that, something else happens on November 6, 2012. We need to retain the House, we need to seize the Senate, and we have to ensure that the new president of the United States has a Congress that's full of common sense, constitutional, conservative public servants. And so we can do that. We can help whoever the president is. As long as they've got an R after their name, all they really need to do is sign the bill. So we can, keep our determination, our commitments intact, and that way we can, stand together, advance, strengthen, and we can carry this organized entity that we've created just to work together toward the restoration of our founders' values and principles on every level of government. It's so important to think down ticket. We get so distracted by this presidential race that we forget there's a whole lot of seats up for re-election that we can take. We can seize those seats, and we're going to do it.
What's your background, Thomas? How did you get involved in such a thing, and how did you come to be such a Palin supporter?
Well, I'm a born and raised native Californian who's gone through the various degrees of political activity my entire life. I've gone full circle. I've gone from very involved to, unfortunately, like so many other Americans, complacent. And then, of course, brings us back to full circle where now I am once again fully involved. In 2010, I served as the California State Coordinator for Organize for Palin. Then last November, I was appointed to the American Grizzlies United Board of Directors and then elected chairman of the board in December.
Why is it so important to keep Governor Palin's message alive? I think you touched on this a little bit, but even if she is not running for office, I think she's tried to explain that to a lot of folks, but some people think like, well, if you're not a candidate, we look at other things, but isn't it really the reason a lot of us really support Governor Palin? It's her values, it's what she believes in. Is that what we're looking for in a lot of these other candidates?
Oh, absolutely. It's because it's restoration, not transformation, that our country needs. And I think concerned citizens get that. And I also think that many people running for office get that too. From the down ticket all the way up to the GOP presidential field, many of the ideas and platforms coming from these candidates can be found on Sarah Palin's Facebook page. So I find that interesting, and I think, it's kind of happening organically. She's made a really big impact on this race across the board, outside of the race. And so I think that's pretty exciting and very telling of things to come.
And give us that information again, Thomas, as far as how people can get involved with AGU, and include the text situation in there too, if you would.
Absolutely. You can go to our website, AmericanGrizzlies.com, and click on the Get Involved tab, or you can just text Palin to 90210. You can text Palin, P-A-L-I-N, to 90210. Text Palin to 90210, or go to AmericanGrizzlies.com and click on Get Involved.
Easy enough to remember that number.
Absolutely, yeah. That was a hard one for us to pull off, but we did it.
Well, Thomas, listen, we appreciate what you're doing, and I know Governor Palin and those who support her, really can come together here, because there's so many people out there every day, just regular Americans like yourself, who want the best for this country. They're out there doing things the Palin way, if you will, and it's starting to really translate to maybe some folks who weren't on board, say, weeks, months, or years ago, and are opening their eyes.
Absolutely, our work continues.
Well, best of luck with everything, and we'll direct everybody to the site, and hope to get more boots on the ground and more hands on deck, and keep the roar going from the Grizzlies.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you very much.
All right, Thomas, be well.
Thank you. Good night.
Head over to AmericanGrizzlies.com and text Palin to 90210. Keep the roar strong. Sarah Palin rocked 30 Rock this past week. The governor helped today maintain its winning streak against Good Morning America, even with the appearance of its own guest star, Katie Couric, who, of course, went after Governor Palin in 2008 with gotcha questions. NBC's Today widened its advantage over ABC runner-up Good Morning America by 23,000 viewers, according to the Nielsen Company, on Tuesday, the day Governor Palin was in studio. Good Morning America brought back Couric to the morning TV program after her many years hosting Today. As a special guest host on Today, Palin talked politics and also spoke with Tori Spelling. In another segment titled Today's Professional, Palin joined Star Jones and others discussing topics ranging from Jessica Simpson's pregnancy weight to Oprah's network OWN, to Ashton Kutcher's upcoming portrayal of Steve Jobs. The appearance wasn't too political, but Palin did repeatedly say anybody but Obama. Bottom line, game over. It was a shutout. Palin won. The perky won nothing. Well, the Stock Act was signed into law this past week. Governor Palin says although the bill was watered down, this is at least a small step in the right direction, again beating the drum to address crony capitalism in our government's executive branch. She credited our friend Peter Schweitzer, saying this victory would not have been possible without his research in the book Throw Them All Out and the investigative reporting on 60 Minutes based on Peter's book. Speaking of books, here's another one the Gov thinks you may like. It's called No They Can't, Why Government Fails But Individuals Succeed by John Stossel. Palin says she couldn't put it down. Check it out. Well, that'll just about do it for this edition of the Palin Update on SaraNet Radio. Visit SaraNetRadio.net for continuing coverage of Governor Palin. Also, follow us on Twitter at SaraNet Radio, and we are now on Facebook, so please like SaraNet Radio on Facebook. And if you want to stick it to the left, pick up one of our new SaraNet Radio bumper stickers. Just email us, send your name and address, and we'll send you one of our great-looking new stickers. Go to SaraNetRadio.net and click on Free SaraNet Radio Bumper Sticker. I want to thank everyone here at SaraNet Radio. Thanks to Thomas Schmitz, and thank you for listening today. Please be sure to join us again next time for another edition of the Palin Update. I'm Kiven Scholla. Have a pleasant day.